It was supposed to be just another night. The CEO of Silverline Industries, Daniel Carter, sat in the quiet corner of an upscale restaurant in downtown Toronto. His table for two looked perfect, 2 glasses of wine, a candle flickering between them, and the low hum of soft jazz filling the air. But the other chair remained empty. He had been stood up. His blind date had cancelled at the last minute, leaving him staring at his reflection in the wine glass, wondering when life had become so painfully lonely. Daniel wasn't the kind of man people felt sorry for, at least, not on the outside. He was wealthy, successful, admired. But behind the expensive suit and polished shoes was a man who hadn't truly laughed in years. His life had become a routine of meetings, mergers, and endless phone calls. The success he once dreamed of now felt hollow. That night, sitting alone under the warm glow of the restaurant lights, he felt the weight of it all, how empty success could be without someone to share it with. He was about to ask for the check when a gentle voice interrupted. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Daniel looked up to see a woman standing there, a little out of breath, holding a small child by the hand. She looked embarrassed, her coat slightly wet from the snow falling outside. "I'm sorry," she continued quickly, "the restaurant is full, and my son's really hungry. If you don't mind, could we sit here? Just until a table opens up." Daniel blinked, surprised. Most people recognized him immediately. But she didn't. There was no flicker of recognition in her eyes, just tired kindness and a touch of desperation. He gestured to the chair. "Of course," he said softly. "Please, have a seat." The woman smiled with relief. "Thank you. I'm Emily, and this is Noah." The little boy climbed onto the chair, cheeks flushed from the cold. "Hi," he said shyly, eyeing the fancy glass on the table. Daniel chuckled. "Hi, Noah, hungry?" The boy nodded eagerly. The waiter came by, clearly uncertain about the unplanned guests, but Daniel waved him off. "Put their meals on my bill," he said without thinking. Emily's eyes widened. "Oh no, that's not necessary," she said quickly, fumbling in her purse. "Please, I can pay." Daniel smiled. "It's fine. I insist." As the food arrived, the three of them began to talk. Emily explained she was a single mom, working 2 jobs to keep up with rent and daycare. Her husband had left 2 years ago, leaving behind nothing but unpaid bills and broken promises. She hadn't been to a restaurant in months, maybe years. She'd only stopped here tonight because her son had begged for something special for his birthday, a real dinner, not takeout. Daniel listened quietly, feeling something stir inside him, a mix of admiration and sadness. He realized how small his problems looked beside hers. Here was a woman juggling the world on her shoulders, doing everything for her child, and still managing to smile through it. As Noah devoured his spaghetti, Emily laughed softly, the kind of laugh that warmed the air. Daniel found himself smiling too, for the first time in a long time. They talked about everything, childhood memories, favorite foods, dreams. It wasn't the polished conversation he usually had in his corporate world. It was raw, human, real. By the time dessert arrived, Noah had fallen asleep against his mother's arm. Emily looked at her son, brushing his hair gently. "He deserves so much more than I can give," she whispered. Her voice trembled, but she smiled through it. "But I try." Daniel swallowed hard. "You're giving him what matters," he said quietly. "Love. That's something money can't buy." She looked up at him then, and for a moment, their eyes met, 2 people from completely different worlds, yet somehow, they understood each other perfectly. When the night came to an end, Emily thanked him again. "You didn't have to do all this," she said softly. "But you did. I'll never forget it." Daniel smiled gently. "Neither will I." He watched as she walked out into the cold night, carrying her sleeping son. Something inside him shifted. The loneliness that had haunted him for years didn't feel so heavy anymore. The next morning, Daniel found himself thinking about Emily and Noah. He couldn't shake the image of them walking into the snow. He had everything, yet they had something he didn't: purpose. That realization hit him deeply. A week later, he visited the local daycare center where Emily had mentioned she worked. When she saw him, she was shocked. "Mr. Carter," she stammered, suddenly realizing who he was. "You're..." He smiled. "Just Daniel," he said. I wanted to see if you'd join a new project I'm starting, a foundation to support single parents. You'd be the perfect person to help lead it." Her eyes filled with tears. "Are you serious?" "Completely," he said. "That night, you reminded me what truly matters. And I'd like to do something meaningful, something real." As snow began to fall again outside the window, Emily smiled through her tears. "I think that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." From that day forward, Daniel's life changed. His world, once filled with loneliness and empty success, now had color, laughter, and purpose. The foundation grew quickly, helping hundreds of single parents across Canada find hope and stability. And though Daniel and Emily's paths began with a single question, "Is this seat taken?" what followed was something far greater. Not just love, but the rediscovery of what it means to truly live. Sometimes, life doesn't give us what we expect, it gives us what we need. A cancelled date turned into a moment that changed two lives forever. And somewhere in the heart of Toronto, a CEO who once sat alone at a table now sat surrounded by warmth, laughter, and a family he never saw coming.